Good morning and welcome back from Christmas break. We are going to jump right in and start with chapter 6. We're adding fractions with unlike denominators. So before the break, we went through, we reviewed, and all the fraction stuff is now very familiar with us. So we're going to start adding with unlike denominators. I'm going to do a few examples. In this lesson, you have a video that I've attached from Math Antics, and then you also have some other things that will help you if you're not quite sure with how to do it, but we're going to go through some steps together, and hopefully that will help too. So I'm going to share my screen real quick, and you should be seeing now what I'm seeing. And so we're going to talk a little bit about the steps that we're going to do. Our first step always is going to be look and decide. Remember, denominator on the bottom, are they the same? Okay, if they're the same, then you just can go straight into adding or subtracting. If they're not the same, the first thing we have to do is to make them match. So to do that, we have to figure out a multiple that's the same. I always go with the least common multiple just because it's easier when you simplify. So on this one, if we look and come up with one that's the same, I think it's going to be 30. And so I'm going to scoot this over a little bit. So if I have a 30 as my denominator, okay, I can change that. But then I have to look and see how to make this fraction equivalent to some fraction with 30 in the denominator. So to do that, I'm going to look at the bottom number. 3 times what would get me to 30? Okay, so 3 times 10, right, equals 30. So if I multiply this bottom number by the 10, I have to do the same thing with the top number. So I would do 2 times 10, and that would be 20. So that's going to give me my numerator. Then I do the same thing for the other one. 10 times something would give us 30. And you're right, if you said 3 or thought 3, but if I multiply the bottom by 3, I also have to multiply the top by 3. So 2 times 3 would be 6. Now from there, I can actually go through and add them. So I just add the top numbers. This is going to stay 30. So I'm going to write that down there. I'm going to move my things so you can see. And then 20 plus 6 is 26. Now here, you're going to have to decide, is that as simple as it gets? Now remember, when we simplify, we want it to be as small as we can, where there's not a number that can be divided into both the numerator and the denominator. So for this one, I'm going to look, and I always like to start with a really small one. So can I divide each by 2? Okay, so 26 divided by 2 would be 13. 30 divided by 2 would be 15. So that would be that fraction. Now, can this be simplified anymore? Looking at it, and I don't think it can. So that would be my final answer. Okay, so let me erase it while you're getting ready, and we will do another one together. So I'm going to erase this real quick, and we're going to go through and try another one. So let me grab one. There's so many over here, but I want to do a good one. And this one does have a picture with it. And you can use pictures to help, but you don't have to. So here is our problem. And we're going to look, we have 2/5 plus 5/10. So our first step, like we said a minute ago, is to look at the bottom, so the denominators, and see if they're the same. They don't match. So our first step is going to be to change that. Now this one is really nice because I don't have to change both, because isn't 10 a multiple of 5? So can I just change that one? So then what if I just had a 10 on the bottom, right? Then I have to look at this one. 5 times some number would give us 10. So what would it be? Good, 2. And then if I multiply 5 by 2, I multiply the top number by 2 as well. And this one can stay the same. When I add them together, I get 9/10. That one was pretty simple. Probably could have done a harder one. All right, let's do one more and see if we can challenge ourselves before we move on. What if, let me find one with a bigger denominator. Well, maybe not bigger, but a little easier. Let's do this one. Okay, so again, what denominator would be The same for this one. There's a few different options. And if you actually do go with the bigger one, a bigger common denominator, it will still work. You just may have to simplify a little bit more. I'm looking at it and I think I'm going to go with 12. So I go ahead and I always like to rewrite it down there. Okay. Now 6 times what number? 2 gives us 12, right? So then I would do 5 times 2. Over here, 4 times what number would give us 12? And we would say 3. So then I do times 3 up top. Okay. Then when I add it together, I get 13 over 12. What am I going to do that? Because that's definitely the right answer, but it's not in simplest form. So remember, we take that and make it into a mixed number. So it would end up being 1/12. Okay, so hopefully this little quick video helped you understand the steps. There is another video attached, don't forget that. And then you're going to do your assignment on Google Slides.